Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here. Today I'm in front of one of my art walls in my house and we're going to do a video to make a really cute, pretty easy ring with little spirals on it. So what you're going to need for the project are your tools, a ring cone, and some wires. So for my sample I used 22 gauge wire, artistic copper wire. It was a little bit soft, so for this one I'm going to use 20 gauge. It's beadle-on wire, but it's sort of this German style wire. It's a little bit stiffer. So you're going to cut 3 pieces of wire that are about 6 or 7 inches long. Depends on how big your ring is. And then you can straighten them out with a little bit, just a soft cloth or a Kleenex. So you're going to start by lining the 3 wires up, and then just a couple inches from the end, you're going to hold them with the flat pliers. And then what you want to do is just like hold it tight, take one of the wires and give it a complete turn around. Okay, we're going to turn it around and then we're going to bend it out that way. And then you want to do the same over here. And it's just going to depend on, you know, your ring size. So probably a good idea would be to actually form the ring, start forming the ring around like that, and then you can measure which finger you want it to be on, and then what you want it to be is you want to line these 2 up more or less. And so then you could take these flat pliers and hold the 3 wires together again, and then take one of these, probably best to use a longer one, but you can always cut your wires too long. I prefer to cut them too long than too short. So we're going to twist that around and then push it out. So now you had the beginning stages of the ring, and then you probably want to give it a good press in there just to really hold the wires in shape without necessarily, you know, you don't want to pinch them so much it's going to break, but you want them nice and solid. And then at that point, if you want the loops to be all the same size, you can trim them all the same size. If you want them different sizes, you can. But you want the ends to be cut quite flush, okay, on that side. And then the same thing over here. So just kind of eyeball where you want them, and then just cut them straight across. And then to make your spirals, I do have videos on how to make spirals. There's several ways you can do it. Because this is a pretty soft wire, we could just go with kind of the traditional method. Let's just spread these out a little bit, because often what I do is I'll just use like a little cone shape. I'll show you both ways to do it. So if I'm going to go with sort of like that more cone method, you get your larger pliers and you put them in here, and then you just kind of work your way up the pliers to start the shape of the spiral. It just makes it run a little bit smoother. So even if you can get it started like that, it's good. And then you can take your smaller round pliers and just hold the tip and turn it around on itself. So you've like made that little loop, and then you can just work it in like that. Just kind of hold that, work it in, okay, inside like that. And so you have your spiral, and then what you want to do is get your flat pliers at that point to kind of push it in, like flatten it. And then you could even, if you want it tighter, if you can't get your fingers in there, you can just go ahead and use your round pliers and kind of tighten it up a little bit. Okay, so the idea now is you want to do 3 spirals. So that's one way to do the spiral. The other way, of course, is just to take your round pliers, hold the end, bring it in. This works when the wire is quite soft, and then you can help it. You can just kind of give it a little push and then just go slowly as you're kind of like curving this around with your fingertip or your fingernail. And you just want to slowly go in here. This doesn't work too well with aluminum wire because it bends a lot, but you're just going to push it in there. And then those 2 spirals are going one way, and then this spiral you could do the opposite way just to make it look a little more interesting. Now this is, you know, you could really do the spirals any way you want. This is just sort of a guideline to how you could do it, but there's all kinds of things you can do with this project. Even if you wanted to, you could probably add some beads to it. I'm just doing it with wire for this one. But see how the spirals are out like that? Now if you want to tighten them up, just take them in your finger and just tighten them up a bit. So now we're going to do the same with this end, and let's kind of make it somewhat symmetrical. So this one will go kind of up. This is going to be, so they're sort of going to be like the mirror image of each other. So we'll just go ahead and bring this one up like that around. It's a little tricky to do the spirals when they're so small, but it's all good. It's going to be really pretty once it's all pulled together. And then so that one's going, spirals going upwards, and let's do the other two going downwards. So let's do that. And you could do the spiral, the first method I showed you, or this method here. This wire is quite nice. I bought this at Michaels. So we have Michaels in Canada. I know they have them in the States. So I don't know. I highly doubt they're international, but you guys can let me know in the comments where you buy your wire, because that would help my other viewers to know where everybody buys their wire, because I know there's other places in the States that we don't have in Canada. And of course you can buy them online. Beadalon is the company that makes the artistic copper wire. They also have a non-tarnished brass, which is a little stiffer than their copper wires. So that could work too for this project. And also sometimes I buy wire on Amazon, and often I will buy my wire on Etsy. Sometimes I use silver wire. It's called Argentium silver wire. And the reason I like that one is because it's a low tarnish silver wire. And it's not, well, it's more expensive than other wires, but it's pretty affordable. And like I said, I buy it on Etsy. So that's, I like shopping on Etsy. So now this looks kind of all over the map, but what we can do now is tighten things up. So we get these pliers, the flat pliers, and just push them in, tighten these up a little bit, okay? And then what we can do is put it back on the ring form, and this is going to get it a little more precise. So now, as you see with the, once it's on the ring form, we have one that's a little bit too big. So we'll just tighten it up a little bit. And this one too, we're just going to tighten it up and push them in. And there you have your super cool spiral funky ring. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more DIY wire art and jewelry making videos. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live and when I post new videos. And if you'd like to share pictures of your wire art creations, be sure to join the Facebook group, the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club, where we share photos and inspiration amongst the members. And if you don't have Facebook, no problem. You could send me photos to info@heatherboydwire.com, and I can post them in the community section of the YouTube channel. And if you'd like to check out our wire art and jewelry on Etsy, I'll link up my Etsy shop below. We specialize in custom wire jewelry and wedding cake toppers. Also, if you want to learn some more specialized wire art techniques, I have a course available, an online course. I'll link it up below. And I have some cool projects, including how to flatten wire for bookmarks, how to make spiral beads for necklaces, and how to make funky trees. I have a different way of making trees with weaving the wires together. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.